the creators who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing. This is World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Well, hello and welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Wow Report, where we count down the top 10 things of the week that make us go
wow. Wow.
Tom Campbell's away on assignment, I guess, right?
Top secret assignment. Top secret.
Joining us this week is Randy Barbado, my partner in crime at World of Wonder.
Wow.
And of course, the enthusiastic, ebullient, irrepressible James St. James.
I was just going to say, what am I, chopped liver? What's going on?
Well, I couldn't say I'm co-founder of World of Wonder and then get to rant. That would just seem wrong, right?
Okay.
So I'm giving Randy.
I don't know when you've ever been this
generous.
Oh, God, it's going to be a tough week. All right, let's start counting down the top 10 things this week that made us go, wow.
Number 10.
You know, it's been a fantastic summer for fantasy. We've got Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. We've got Neil Gaiman's Sandman, which we've talked about at length. And now we have Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. It's set 1,000 years before Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, a couple thousand years. And it tells of the rise of the evil Dark Lord Sauron and the last time that the men and elves and dwarves all got along together. And it's about how the power rings were forged and everything like that. And it takes place over a couple thousand years, so don't get too attached to any one character because we're going to be moving pretty fast. The problem with it is that the elves, if you remember from Lord of the Rings, elves are supposed to be these sort of ethereal, angelic, beautiful twinks and beautiful. They're just stunning to look at, and they make your heart stop. Well, there's not an attractive elf in the bunch here. They are all just really ugly. Yes, Blake?
Well, maybe it's because it's 100, 1,000 or 2 years before, and they just haven't
evolved.
Possibly.
Yeah. It took a long time for those twinks to evolve into what they are now.
I guess we are in the age of pre-twinkage, I guess is what's happening here. And the dwarves are really fun. And there's these people called the Harfoots who are sort of like pre-hobbits. And the first episode is really, really boring, but the second episode really takes off and it's really incredible. And that bodes well for the series. I think you need to give it a shot. Yes, Fenton.
Well, here's the thing. So it's not actually based on anything Tolkien wrote because he never told those stories, did he?
Well, he did. He touches on some of these stories lightly, but they don't have access to the Silmarillion, which is a big problem because the Silmarillion is all the hundreds of thousands and millions of years before the story of the elves. And so he can't really tell those stories because they don't have the rights to it. So they're sort of flying blindly on a few fables that Tolkien told and sort of trying to expand it.
It had the biggest premiere on Amazon ever, right?
It did, but it's still 3 million behind House of the Dragon. So,
okay. And it's also getting trolled, right? They had to turn off the reviews. But could you explain all that?
That's just it, because there are several of the Harfoots, who are the hobbits, who have dark complexions. They're black actors, and everyone is saying there are no black hobbits. What the hell are you doing about? And it really brought out a bunch of racists. But you're in this fantasy kingdom with elves, and you're quibbling over skin tone. It's really ridiculous and ugly and racist. So definitely turn off the reviews and the angry Twitters.
And you presumably have to watch it on a big screen to get the full impact.
Yeah. I mean, I know, Fenton, you have a tendency to watch these enormous superhero blockbusters on your phone, and I always tell you can't do that.
Right.
And you have a movie theater in your house. I don't understand why you're always watching things on your phone.
Because I can lie in bed and fall asleep and not have to get up and go, it's easy.
Now, Randy, will you do any of these series?
No.
Okay.
No, I got sucked into I'm watching The Rehearsal at the moment, which I love.
Well, Seth talked about that 2 weeks ago, and said that it's really, really good. Are you enjoying it?
I'm really enjoying it. So
I might do it this weekend. I'll do it this weekend.
Yeah, when it comes to fantasy, I limit it to Mariah Carey.
Well, see, I'm always finding like in House of the Dragons, they have really good like medieval jewelry. Like, so I'm always like with the outfits
I
and the
see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hairstyles. Like the House of Targaryens all have really good hairdos. So that's what drags me. Cute boys and good hairdos is what I'm there for.
And cute elves, apparently.
And cute
They're also
elves,
inside.
yes.
The Rings of Power is streaming on Amazon. Number 9, Randy.
Number 9.
We were very fortunate enough to win 2 Emmys this past weekend and to be nominated for several more. And it was really fun. And I just wanted to talk for a moment about the Creative Emmys, because within the community, they used to be called the Schmemmys, and they were like the weekend before the prime times. They're when the creative people behind the, who make television
The
are
hair and
honored.
makeup, the costumers, all that kind of
Yeah.
lighting people, all of
But
that.
I find them amazing. I love going to them, because they're filled with craftspeople who
And
who
it
really,
takes a village, and these are the people who build us up.
and they are so excited to be at the Emmys. So there's great fashion, there's great enthusiasm, and this weekend they were super gay. It was really special. I was sat with RuPaul, and sitting at our table was Randy Rainbow,
Oh my
Nicole Byer,
Oh.
next to the table with all the guys from Queer Eye, next to the table with Shangela, Bob the Drag Queen, Eureka, all sort of like, right up at the stage, right up front. But I was like, it felt so warm and fuzzy and super gay. Now, of course, there were lots of straight people there. They were everywhere. But
did they put all the gays together? Like,
Were you segregate? Were you in a gay ghetto?
I don't think so. There was a moment that I wondered, but no, we weren't. But it felt like we. Now that I'm thinking about it, no, we weren't. We really weren't.
Well, my 2 questions, first of all, is Randy Rainbow, is he an absolute delight to be as a table mate?
Absolute delight. He should have won.
Yes.
And
he lost out to James Corden, right?
I know.
Ugh.
What? So it was very sweet, and Rue won, and I don't think was expecting it at all. And his speech was so sweet because he just talked about how much he loves television. It was very genuine, very real, and he gave mega props to Norman Lear, who was sitting in the audience, and thanked Arsenio Hall because that's how Rue got into the union. So that was fun. But one other thing I just wanted to tell you about. So of course, so it was fun, and props to all those amazing people who make the TV that we love. And then they have that governor's ball, and it was like 300 degrees, and they decided to have it outside.
Oh no.
So it was very hot, and people were so people were so dehydrated for the 4-hour event that people were waiting in line to get into the governor's ball, which meant standing outside. And so I almost ran, and there was a table between the bar and the food, which we took control of. Yes. And Theron was there. Theron made friends with the chefs and the waiters, so food was coming to our table. There was all the wine.
There's food, there's Theron.
Yes, all the alcohol. There was a back way to get the alcohol, so we could just sit at the table and greet people as they were waiting in line. So that was a good thing to do for a while. But here's the thing: at the governor's ball every year, they have a cover band, and the thing is, normally you'd be like, cover band, humph, whatever, dismissive. But a cover band in Hollywood means you have the best singers on the planet. They're the singers who are doing backup on American Idol and shows like that. They're great singers, great musicians, great music, all the music you want to hear. I ended up on that dance floor. I kept every 10 minutes or so, I'd be okay, I'm going to leave. And then, goodbye. And it's all, you're dancing with executives and people that you work with and whatever. And every time I go to exit, it'd be PYT they'd start playing PYT or something. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna leave a dance floor when they're playing Michael Jackson's PYT, and I turn around. That happened for like 20 minutes. I went home, my tux was soaking wet. So
now that is a first world problem right there. My tux was
what are you gonna do?
I had too much fun.
I took it off. I parked in the back. I took my tux off and I put it in the back seat. It was too wet to wear inside.
Oh gosh, I hope you straighten it out.
Give a quick shout out to Rue's shoes, which I saw on Instagram. He was wearing platforms upon platforms upon platforms, and he must have been at least 10.5 feet tall.
It was crazy.
I mean, it's literally like bringing coals to Newcastle when you put, Rue in heels in platforms. It was a spectacular sight to see.
Well, congratulations to Rue for the outstanding host and to RuPaul's Drag Race for outstanding production design. And of course, We're Here and Queer Eye and Legendary, right? They all won.
Well. It was great. It was so great to see all of them. And it was great seeing Bob and Shangela and Eureka on stage presenting. That's fun. It really felt like family. It felt like we were having, an awards show in our backyard or something like that.
And the gallery. It's like an old gallery party.
Yes.
All right, moving on. Number 8. Something else happened last week. Starbucks introduced pumpkin spice latte. It is pumpkin spice latte season. It is back. It's actually I think it's almost 3 or almost 4 weeks before the official start of fall. But pumpkin spice latte is in its 19th year. It's been around since 2003. I personally have never had one. James?
No, I don't believe in coffee. I don't do anything at Starbucks other than blueberry muffins.
The thing about pumpkin spice latte there's no coffee really going on, I don't think.
Oh, okay. I don't believe in any of that. No, I don't like caffeine. I'm very anti-caffeine.
Randy?
He's very anti-caffeine.
Yeah.
Very, very.
Well, you don't need it, James. So, Randy, have you had a pumpkin spice latte?
No, but I did this weekend. I bought 2 pumpkin spice bath bombs for my kids.
Oh. Well, that's the thing. Starbucks really started this pumpkin spice thing. And you go in, I went into, what's that sort of high-endy cooking shop? Williams and Sonoma. They had pumpkin spice latte, marshmallows, pumpkin spice latte, tea cloths, everything was pumpkin spice latte.
And sort of the flavor of Karens everywhere. Isn't that sort of the joke about it?
So I then did a little bit of a dive, and there's been a lot of writings about pumpkin spice latte. Women, mostly white, mostly with flawless highlights, who love brunch and cozy sweaters, pick your own apple orchards, and painted signs in their kitchens reminding them to dream. That is apparently the core audience. And then, of course, there's a whole backlash of people saying that actually this is demeaning to women and that women are being criticized for liking sweet things, whereas, masculine favors like IPA or, they never get read, but acai bowls and rosé.
Do queens like pumpkin spice? Is that a gay WeHo thing?
I'm sure it is. Don't you think?
I don't know.
I don't know. Blake?
I don't go to WeHo, but I don't know. I don't like pumpkin spice lattes.
You don't? What do you get at Starbucks? Because you always have a Starbucks on you.
I always get tea with 2 Splenda.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to kick my Diet Coke habit.
Since they introduced the pumpkin spice latte, they sold something like 600 million pumpkin spice lattes. I mean, it's a huge, huge thing. And actually, originally, it didn't even have pumpkin in it.
Well, I was wondering. There's no coffee and there's no pumpkin.
Yeah, well, it's all now. Cinnamon or something, isn't it? What is it?
A few years ago, they introduced pumpkin, actual real pumpkin, into the pumpkin spice latte. And they also took out the artificial color. So it's a more natural pumpkin, but apparently it tastes exactly the same. But I wouldn't know because I've never tasted it because it's so sort of sweet.
I don't drink pumpkin spice latte, but today I did order that, I'm thinking you saw it, that huge lavender lemonade from Irwan. I mainly ordered it because of the packaging of it was so stunning.
It's purple lemonade. What is it, like passion fruit or something? What is the other thing that's in it?
It's lavender, and
Oh.
there's rose water in it, and then there's lemon in it.
And was it delicious?
It was really good. And it really goes through you.
Oh,
well,
so it's
yeah,
an emetic. It's like a. I thought it was supposed to have a calming effect, not a purging one.
Well, I learned from Brian this week that when you're stressed out, you're supposed to visualize a lavender room. That's kind of what opened the door up to me getting a lavender lemonade.
Are you a big Erewhon person, Randy?
No.
Okay.
Are you?
I always think it sounds like the Elvish kingdom of Erewhon, Lord of the Rings.
Well, I had a different trivia question, but I now think, what is Erewhon? What's the name mean?
Oh,
I think I know the answer to this. Okay, should we take a break then?
Yeah.
Let's take a break. I'll just tell you one thing before we go to break. RuPaul's Drag Race UK Series 4, coming September 22nd. Randy, that's your birthday.
Oh,
on Wow Presents Plus worldwide, excluding Canada and UK. It's on BBC Three in the UK and Crave in Canada. Guest judges, Boy George, Ollie Alexander, Mel B, FKA Twigs. So head over to the Wow Report to see them all and to meet the brand new queens.
I had a problem with Mel B once.
Did we save that for number 6? Or
no. We can cut this out, but I was doing something at Daily Freak Show and I met her in like backstage or something like that. And I said, and ladies and gentlemen, Mel C. And she just went like completely, and she wouldn't speak to me for the rest of the time. She was so angry with me.
That's like who calls you Jimmy St. Jimmy? I think
Courtney Love.
Yeah. It's like they call
Courtney
Jimmy
St.
St.
Courtney.
Jimmy. All right, we'll be right back after the break. You're listening to Wow Report on Radio. Andy.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. I'm Fenton Bailey, here with my partner in crime, Randy Barbado, and of course, Jane St. Jane and Blake.
Yeah, and I had a trivia question. We were talking about Randy's, what is it?
Lavender lemonade
from Erewhon. What does the name Erewhon mean?
Well, I'm going to say that it's probably like an anagram for something, but I don't know. I can't think of what it is. Fenton?
It's nowhere misspelt, isn't it?
I think it's nowhere backwards, isn't it?
Well, it's not completely, is it? Is it? Yeah, right, because the W and the H are the wrong way around, so it would be a complete anagram. But it is nowhere, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
They're very elvish.
It is. It doesn't sound like an elvish kingdom.
We're counting down the top 10 things that made us go, wow. Now we've reached number 7.
Number 7.
We are witnessing in real time the demise of CNN, and it is absolutely shocking to watch. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, CNN was bought by Trump donor, Trump billionaire, Maga, John Malone, who is
long time ago, James. He's been a co-owner of it.
Okay. But pay attention. Pay attention. Because shit's going down now. John Malone has publicly said that he wants it to be more like Fox News. And to that end, he has he's privately said that he doesn't want to lose his tax cut. So he wants to make sure that CNN and Fox help keep the GOP in power. He's said this publicly. And to that end, he's hired Chris Licht, who is another Republican donor, Republican Maga, who has privately met with GOP lawmakers at the Capitol last month to ask them how to make CNN more sympathetic to Republicans. So that is the backdrop. And so then over the summer, they fired Brian Seltzer and John Harwood. Yeah. And if you watch, Breonna Keeler has fully embraced the dark side and gone completely MAGA. It is really crazy what they're doing every single show. If you have anti-Trump, you've got to have pro-Trump people on. If you have Biden, you've got to have anti-Biden people on. They're both sidesing it to death. And it's really interesting to see how Don Lemon and Anderson are sort of holding they're towing the rope right now, but we don't know for how long they're going to do it. Jake Tapper has gone into the crapper. I don't know if you saw his interview with Representative Dan Crenshaw, Republican, who just sat there and spouted Republican talking point after Republican talking point and lied and lied and lied. And Jake Tapper did not push back once. He did not say that's not true. He did not offer up any evidence to the contrary, even when we all know what the lies were.
Randy's dog is called Tapper, right?
After Jake Tapper, it's really depressing for
So-
me.
Yeah, he used to be one of the good guys, and he is not now.
Let
he's
me
up there with
let me
Chuck
hear
Todd.
your theory, because I have some things to add, but I want to hear what your big theory is.
Okay, my theory is after we've watched what Zaslav has been doing over at Discovery Plus and Warner Brothers when he tanked the $100 million Batgirl film just for a tax write-off. You know, we know that Fox people are never going to come to CNN ever, 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 no matter how much they change, because they've been told it's fake news for years and years and years. They're never going to come over, and the people who are CNN viewers are all going to MSNBC. So there's no reason for doing this, because it's a lose-lose situation for everybody involved. I think it's gonna tank, and it's gonna be a $10 billion write-off for Maloney.
I believe your assertion of Malone's politics.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that
You don't believe that Malone has ever said that he wants it to be Fox News Light?
Yeah, I don't believe he's ever said that publicly, but that's neither here nor there. I believe that's what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fully believe that that's what he wants, but that is what's happening. And the only thing I would say is the both sides-ism thing is going to kill that network. I agree, because that's not the world we live in right now. But on the flip side of it, I did find even Don Lemon like just exhausting, because it was fact-free.
Yeah.
It was like someone reading out people's hysteria on Twitter. I want content and facts.
Well, there's
so
but Chris Licht, I mean, we talked about this on the Wow Report before, actually, because I was like, when Giuliani kind of said he'd been assaulted in that Staten Island drugstore, and we saw the videotape, and he wasn't assaulted at all. It was like a pat on the back. So that lie was sort of resonating with, at the same time that Chris Licht was telling people inside CNN not to talk about the election as the big lie, you know, Trump's theory of the election is a big lie. But look, a lie is a lie is a lie. And if you don't call a lie, you end up being complicit in this sort of delusional propagandizing.
The thing is, what you learn first day in journalism school is that if someone says that it's raining outside and someone else says that it's not raining outside, your job isn't to provide both points of view. Your job is to go outside and look to see if it's raining and report on whether it's raining or not. And CNN stopped doing that. They stopped looking for the truth and just want both sides of the story to be told.
Yeah. And I would just say it's still a work in progress, because number one, I don't think it will survive if it continues on the track that it's going on. I do have I have faith in some of the people who are still working there. Well, but I do think prior to the entrance of Chris Licht, I think there was a problem there. I do think it became fact-free and just like people like spouting and complaining versus like reporting.
Well, you know, but you're right. There are some great reporters that are there. Shimon Prokupez is amazing. Brooke Baldwin, I like her still. James Longman. I mean, there are people there that I enjoy and that I think do good work. And I hope that Anderson Cooper is going to find a place. I mean, he will. Don Lemon, I'm not so sure what his post CNN career will be.
He'll be a talk show host.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
That's like a celebrity.
Anyway, so there's no real solution here, and there's no good news here. So I guess we move on.
All right, let's move on.
It is sad. It's very sad. I agree with you. But let's have faith that maybe something good will come out of it.
Yeah, I find it hard to have faith something good will come out of it when you're looking at just a generally rising tide of accepting Trump and the reality denying, bold-faced lying as some kind of new reality. That's the problem here. It's just sort of acceptance. And all right, well, let's cheer ourselves up. Number 6, Randy.
Number 6.
Number 6, I put Martha's Vineyard up because I love Martha's Vineyard, but not because of that. Because I saw this editorial in the Washington Post that Max Boot wrote. He's saying that the future has already arrived. The future, what the future looks like, is P-Town and Martha's Vineyard, which is basically integrated, gay, trans, Black, white, everything's there. And, you know, I when I was at Martha's Vineyard this year, like, I guess I'd thought about it in the past. Like, the main reason I like going there, it's just so beautiful. And it's the East Coast, and it taps into, even though I never really spent time there as a child, it does tap into some kind of a deep nostalgia. But the other amazing thing about Martha's Vineyard is it's incredibly integrated. And in this way that you don't often experience on holiday, on the beach.
But now, how long have you been going, and have you seen the diversity change over the years? Is this something that's new, or has it been like this for 10 years?
It has a history of this.
It does.
Yeah, it's historically been quite integrated, but I couldn't speak about Martha's Vineyard with historical authority. Part of the idea of this Max Boot piece is how the reality is that, you know, the minority, I think by 2040, the minority will be the majority. It'll be minority majority. And so much of what's going on in politics right now, the narrative has been hijacked by this small group of people who are so, you know, desperate. This is all stuff you guys know, but are just clinging to this idea.
And politics is just white men clinging to what little vestiges of gerrymandering they can get to keep themselves in power.
But the reality is, it's already over. It's done.
Someone should, just as a callback, tell that to CNN then.
I've had friends that have gone to P-Town for years, and some friends that even live there in the summer. And so I think it's been going on from the 90s, but like John Waters has a place there who's super inclusive, you know. And the newest celebrity I heard this summer that's there is Parker Posey.
Oh, nice.
And of course, Alan Dershowitz is there too, right?
Well, he's on Martha's Vineyard. You were talking about P-Town. Alan Dershowitz was on Martha's Vineyard, and I will just say this about that. You know how he's going on and on about complaining about he's not being invited to dinner parties and people don't talk to him at the local market. But when we saw him, I'm telling you, he was like prancing up and down that beach, like a celebrity. Like, he was just soaking it in. He didn't look like,
and people were being nice. People were giving him the adulation that he wanted.
No, but people were like, shh. But I think he was loving it. He's that guy.
He likes being the diverse.
He's the celebrity there. He's a celebrity there.
And didn't he always used to go to the nude beach there? Wasn't that his thing? Is it there?
Well, then, yeah. I mean, the nude beach is right next to where,
Martha's Vineyard, the place to be. We'll post that article on the Wow Report. Number 5. Okay, so I guess a couple of weeks ago, an artist called Jason Allen entered the Colorado State Fair, and it was, you know, there's different categories, different works, and he entered the digital art category, and he won. He won with this picture, Teatro d'Opera Spatial. It's sort of, I'll post a picture on the Wow Report. It's kind of hard to describe, but there's like a sort of portal, and then sort of painterly figures, oil painting type figures, dotted around as if on a stage. So you think they might be performing an opera, either they're in space looking out on some heavenly landscape, or that's the stage and it's some kind of opera. Who knows what it is? It was just very sort of, actually very calming, sort of old masters.
You often
sort of,
follow the art coming out of the Kansas State Fair. Where was this?
the Colorado State Fair.
Do you avidly follow Colorado State Fair artists?
Won the blue ribbon for the digital art category. He won $300, and no one might have heard anything more about it were it not for the fact that people were outraged because this image he'd created of this sort of very oil painting like thing was created by an app called Midjourney, which basically you type in words like opera, space, theater, and it goes all over the web, scrapes up images, combines them all together, and voila, you have a painting.
Oh, is that like that one, the AI app that where you say you want Donald Duck sitting on a toilet smoking a blunt?
Like that.
And
yeah, it's auto-generated art. And people are just outraged by it. And Blake Gottnick, who wrote the big Warhol biography, wrote a piece about it. I mean, everybody's just sort of piling on and think that it's outrage. And let me just quote what Blake says. He says, AI is a generator of schlock. And the fact that AI can generate schlock so easily in such quantity proves that our entire visual culture is enthralled to schlockiness.
I love it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he said he did allow that as a piece of work, he could consider it as a conceptual exercise in Metaschlock. And I thought, oh, well, that's pretty good. Metaschlock. Is that, have you seen the picture?
I have. And I sort of feel like that it's shocking now because this is the first time we're all discussing it in some sort of form. But I have a feeling in 5 years, it's probably going to be the standard for everything. Don't you? I mean, every CGI is going to be AI generated.
It's like when photography came along, artists were freaked out about photography. And for many years, photography wasn't even seen as an art.
Well, more recently, you think of like auto-tune, and when Cher did it and everyone was like freaked, and now it's like it's de rigueur.
Randy.
Yeah.
Randy's on Martha's Vineyard. Anyway, I suppose it's also like the idea that it's automatic and you just type in words. But the artist says he spent 80 hours doing over 900 iterations.
I bet that's true. And
but I bet that, I bet Andy would have loved it. That's my quote right there.
I think Andy would have had a problem with the 80 hours.
Oh, he would have outsourced it to the, kids and the.
Like Mapplethorpe used to complain about. He said, "Oh, I could be a painter, but it just takes too long to paint anything." And so, photography. He loved photography because it was quick. And Basquiat painted that Warhol portrait in 2 hours.
So as we get lazier and lazier as humans, we look to these types of ways to create art that are really.
Maybe that's it. That's it. We'll post a picture on the Wow Report. You can judge for yourself. Let's take a break. Two-time winner of RuPaul's Drag Race, Jinx Monsoon, has a new show coming to Wow Presents Plus. It's Portlandia meets Kids in the Hall. It's a strange and brilliant sketch comedy series called Sketchy Queens, created by Jinx and her comedy partner, Liam Krug. That is right.
Hey, but I think we also need to plug, now that we're all three together,
Night Fever.
Night Fever. Oh, what a great season. It's so good.
We are off and running. We've had some controversy. We had some inspiring people. This week we have the Connie girl, who is just an oracle for our times. So if you got a chance, go to Spotify, Apple, or Wow Presents Plus, where you can watch it.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after the break with continuing our countdown of the top 10 things that made us go wow here on the Wow Report.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Hey, welcome back to the Wow Report. I'm Fenton here with Randy and James St. James and Blake. All right, we're counting down the top 10 things that made us go wow. We've reached Number 4.
Number 4.
I went to the theater over the weekend and I saw 3,000 Years of Longing. And I just have to say, it is 3,000 years too long. It is, oh my God, it's beautifully shot. It's beautifully written. It's beautifully CGI. The acting is fantastic. The writing is fantastic. It's all there, but it's a series of monologues that's done like ASMR, and they just sit and they talk in this very cool voice, and they just go on and on and on. And I never fall asleep in movies. I fell asleep 4 times in this movie. I don't know what it was. Okay, it's Tilda Swinton is a lonely professor, and she's on vacation, and she gets a bottle. She finds it at an antique store. She opens it up, and a djinn pops out, and the genie is Idris Elba. And he says, you have 3 wishes. And she says, oh, no. I know how this ends up. I am not using them. Every fable, every story, every fairy tale, it goes wrong. I'm not doing this. And so they start talking, and he starts telling the stories of the 3 times that he has been let out of his bottle and then imprisoned again. And the first one is Solomon and Sheba. And the second one is like ancient Arabia. And then there's one in, I think 19th century England, and each time he gets tossed back into the bottle and just at the bottom of the sea for 1,000 years. And he goes on, and while they're talking, they start to fall in love. And there's a very then I fell asleep for a long time, and I don't really know what, but I woke up for the ending, and the ending has made me cry, and it's really beautiful, and it's very bittersweet and sad. But I don't think you need to go to a theater to see this, because I think you don't need to pay to do it, because it's like I said, it's beautiful, but just wait till it's on HBO.
Was it packed?
It actually was. I always go to the like 11 o'clock movie because I don't like it when it's packed, but this was more crowded than usual. But I did see Bodies this weekend too, and that one was really packed. That was like one of those everyone cheering and shouting back at the screen.
I loved it.
People are ready to go back to the movies, huh?
Yeah. It does. It feels. I mean, it was 107 in my apartment, and so it was 20 degrees in the theater. So I had to bring a sweater. So it was nice.
That's why you get people going back to the movies. Just turn up the heat.
Yeah.
3,000 Years of Longing. Well, I guess it just isn't a happy ending.
No. It's a beautiful, beautiful ending. It's you will be sobbing if you make it to the end of the movie.
Okay. Number 3.
Number 3.
Have you guys seen the Kim Kardashian covering interview magazine? There's not much to the story, and I just read it's back when she did the Met Gala in the Marilyn Monroe dress, so she was all dyed blonde.
Oh, okay.
And Jane,
she has blonde, sort of Tanya Roberts hair, sort of Farrah Fawcett, and she's got bleach blonde eyebrows, and she looks really fantastic. But I think this is the first time we've ever really seen her ass, like the full crack.
You said that, but her other magazine cover where she did the painting.
No, you see the side. You don't see ass crack. You don't see butt.
I think. Well, regardless,
well,
she was wearing a jean set from Bottega Veneta
that she had pulled down, and her full butt is out. And the controversy about this is that they were saying that she was queer baiting because she was wearing a jock strap. But then the photographer said that the only reason he put her in a jock strap was because it frames your butt so nicely, and every gay knows that if you want your butt to look good, you wear a jock strap. So she's wearing, it looks like she's doing a queer baiting gay thing that everyone on a thirst trap on Instagram.
Yeah.
That everyone, does. But did you see it? Did you like it? Is it?
I saw it, and then I said to myself, why? It just makes me, I mean, yeah, it's a great photo.
Uh-huh.
It's great. I love it. I love a big ass.
Yeah.
So it gives you all that. But
and it's a woman in a jockstrap, which is sort of a fun image.
But it makes me wonder about her. I guess maybe I'm just tired of attention whores a little bit. Because then it makes me think of Miss M and her antics lately, and I find myself always going there, like I'm interested in whatever, but I just like, ugh, there's Kim like showing us her butt.
Again.
I was just trying to keep it light for number 3, but I'm actually irritated as fuck too. So,
Right? What is it? It's that thing of like, girl, it's like Marilyn Monroe. It's this. It's that. It's like, I guess that's what her business is, right? That's
they were doing an interview with her for the picture, and the photographer was talking to her, and he said, "So Kim, what is the American dream?" And she said, "Is it bratty to say that I'm living it?" And he said, "Yes, but you are." Blah blah blah. And you just sort of thought, like, "Oh, really?"
If that's the American dream. Although today, Brie was saying like all of her Kim Skims are it's a really great
it is.
line.
Yeah,
And
I've heard that.
Really comfortable, and all of the pieces are well done. So she's.
I have heard that as well, and that she deserves all the kudos she gets for her Skims.
Kim Kardashian makes me think of Kanye West, and I just get stuck there, and I just get so unhappy thinking about.
Well, that's all there is with that. She's on the cover of Interview, and she's being.
Well, I did. There was one other thing I wondered about it, and just one other obscure thing. Rolling Stone is always doing, because didn't they do the Marky Mark thing? Like,
well, this was Interview.
Oh, this is Interview. Okay, so
and it was Interview that did the Marky Mark thing, right?
Was
The
it
Marky,
Interview? Okay,
yeah, the famous 1991 cover, spring 1991.
Kanye was tweeting about how Kim has diarrhea more than any other person should. Did you read that?
Was that
and then
today?
He, like,
he did that.
Kanye just did that this week.
In between,
and Kim was like, "Just stop it, Kanye! Just stop it! This is not. You should not be doing this in public."
In between threatening to take down Adidas and Gap, and it's just so.
He's so annoying.
So clearly unhinged, and yet no one really seems to call it out for that. It's like if it was, CNN would cover it and feel obliged to give him equal time.
But we are living in the country that Donald Trump was president for 4 years. We don't call out crazy. But see, now that I know she has diarrhea all the time, that's all I'm going to think about when I see the cover of Interview.
I don't know how you missed that, Randy.
Well, didn't Donald Trump also have diarrhea all the time?
Of course,
he just pooped his
does.
pants. He's just a pants pooper.
I'm going to move on to number 2.
Number 2.
Cabaret. I was in the UK recently, and Tom Camel and I went to see. We were very graciously gifted tickets to go see the new revival of Cabaret. It's called Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club, and they've completely refurbished the theater like a traditional West End theater, turned it into the Kit Kat Club. So you don't go and sit in a seat, you go to a table, you enter through the basement. It's very brick. It's very kind of like an underground club in Berlin. You turn a corner and there's someone who's half nude doing something. And
Kim Kardashian. You turn
the Kardashians, Kanye West. It's like, that's it. It's Cabaret with a K. And it's, what's funny? Every time I see Cabaret, I just think of Liza Minnelli. And so you always spend a bit of time adjusting. I think of Liza Minnelli as Sally Bowles, or Joel Grey as the MC, or I guess Alan Cumming, right? I mean, but I have to say, even though I don't know the names of these actors, they were spectacular. They were absolutely spectacular. And it was fresh. And of course, it was fresh, but it also had, with the way the Nazis come in and kind of like you're sort of dancing on the edge of the volcano, it rhymed with what's happening in the present, with the rise of fascism and people being afraid to call things what they are. They just, meanwhile, quietly just slip into things. And so someone stands up singing "Tomorrow Belongs to Me."
I was just going to say.
It's one person singing it, but by the end, everybody's singing it.
And the
like
drums
CNN
get louder and
singing
louder
along.
and louder. It's such
like
a terrifying song. It is just, it's one of the best songs of the 20th century.
And I did a bit of a sort of, took me down a bit of a rabbit hole, because that is it began as a Christopher Isherwood novella in 1937. Then it became a play in 1951. And then, of course, 66 was the musical, and then 72 the movie, which I guess is the Bob Fosse movie. It's just so definitional, right?
Have you ever read I Am a Camera or the Isherwood Diaries?
I have never read It's Tara. I've never read any
Yeah.
Isherwood.
It is. It's something maybe in your old age you can settle down with some Isherwood and just sink into it because it's
I mean,
wonderful.
if I had sort of one thing, I think the story gets a bit creaky in the sense that obviously Cliff, the guy who's sort of the narrator, is gay, but he's sort of bisexual, and there is this sort of subplot of him and Sally Bowles, and they pretend to be lovers because she got pregnant by someone. It just felt like in a modern version of it, you could be more open and strip away some of that coyness that was necessary in the times. But I don't know, nitpicky thing, I guess.
And there's a whole plot point about how crazy and kooky Sally is because she has green nails. And in the 30s, that would have been really something. But now, try telling the modern kids that green nails is crazy.
She was really the person who played Sally was so amazing. Like, she did Life as a Cabaret, and did it in this really scabrous, sarcastic, angry, rage-filled version. That was it was absolutely stunning, and it went from very quiet to very loud to very quiet. It was pretty breathtaking, actually. So that is Cabaret at the Kit Kat.
Is that coming? Is that production coming to New York?
Well, it's difficult because, you know, they spent something like $5 million refurbishing the theater. I mean, it's sort of site specific. You need to have a theater that's in the round, because they ripped out all the backstage and put the audience there as well as in the front. And the stage is completely circular, and it has bits that pop up like a wedding cake. It's pretty visually spectacular, I must say. All right, let's take one more break. We have the most amazing number one. Speaking of attention seekers and all those disorders that go with it, you're listening to Wow Report on Radio Andy. We'll be right back after the break.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to Wow Report, here with Randy and James and Blake. We've reached number one.
Number one.
Well, I want to just say that it has been absolutely...
Wait, hold on, James, 1 second. Sorry, go ahead.
The news coming out of the Venice Film Festival for Move Over, Darling?
Don't worry, darling.
Don't worry, darling. It has been unbelievable. I have been rollicking. I've been laughing so much. First of all, backstory, you have Olivia and Florence are feuding, right? And Florence won't walk the red carpet with Olivia. And then you have Harry, who is, bless his heart, trying his damnedest to keep up with the rest of the thespians. And he was being interviewed, and he said something about how it's like a movie that feels like a movie. And you can just see Chris Pine like literally leaving his body, trying so hard not to scream in frustration that he's saddled with Harry. And then
wait, it was such a great tweet. Worry, I'm not even here, darling.
And yes, and then you also have the backstory of Olivia and Jason Sudeikis, and so Florence is. I can't even go into any of that.
So
and the Shia LaBeouf, Shia storyline, and him. Was he fired? Did he quit?
And then they were trying to get him back, and instead they were saddled with Harry, who is just apparently, I don't know. But then
James, before you get there, he said, Harry, in that press conference, he said, I know he said what he was proudest of is that it feels like a movie, but he also said, what I like about acting is I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing.
I love him so much. I do. And people talk about him queer baiting, and is he or isn't he? Oh, and then we have the the kiss with Nick Kroll, when he just goes and grabs Nick Kroll and plants one on his lips. And that, of course, was meant to solve the problem of his, lingering bisexuality. I don't know, but fans are either they love it or they hate it, blah, 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 blah. And then he's wearing this outfit with these gigantical collar, and it's a cute outfit. It's really fabulous. I would have loved to have worn it. I would still wear it, hell. But then he goes and he sits down, and before he sits down, it appears that he spits on Chris Pine. And you see Chris Pine look down at his lap and then stick his tongue out and then try and pass it off like nothing's happening. Do you believe that he spit on Chris.
He did not spit on Chris. We
What
all know he
happened?
did not spit on Chris, but it's been a fabulous
Why did Chris
afternoon.
Pine look down?
Well, some were saying he was fiddling with his glasses, or he was looking for his glasses.
He was looking for his glasses, and he realized that they were right there. And yeah, all the storylines and all the gossip leading up to the premiere. And is Florence? That's her name, right?
Yeah, Florence
Is
Pugh,
she gonna
yeah.
come? And she can't come to the photo shoot because she is just arriving. But meanwhile, that shot of her walking with the purple and
The Aperol spritz.
which I didn't even realize that was her. And yesterday I started seeing that popping up everywhere. I'm like, what is this? Who is this? With all the people saying so-and-so arriving to this or so. So people have had fun with it. And I do think it's great for the movie. Like, everyone's going to go see this movie, right?
Well, the movie, have you seen the trailer for it though? It just looks excruciating. It just looks, I think this is I think it's all drummed up drama to get people to go to this flop of a.
No, because they wouldn't go to Venice for that. Like, I think it's funny because I actually think all of this is going to be great for box office, but it's disqualified it for any serious, because most of the reviews are sort of mixed, but everyone's saying Florence is great in it. And so if it didn't have this kind of lead up and tabloid profile, maybe people would have taken it a little more seriously. But I do think on the flip side of that, a lot of people are going to go see it out of curiosity, because they're also, it's that thing, there are these accusations that Olivia and Harry were doing it while they were making the film.
She was still with Jason, I guess.
And while they were making the film, and she would disappear, they would meet in someone there's stories about how they were very close and would take time off together while filming. And just one other aside, there are the Ronan Chris Pine side by sides, which Ronan's been having fun with on the interwebs today.
Well, Chris Pine he's such a handsome guy, and every time you see him, he does look completely different, but this is a very Ronan-esque period of his.
Well, all right, we're out of time. Thank you very much. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, James. Thank you, Blake. Same time, same place next week. Until then, go out and do something that makes the world go
wow.